So when you affect neurologically the same thing that causes numbness, coldness, weakness into a leg, do you think that would affect organ function? Yes or yes? Hey everyone, Dr. Todd from Gonstead Spinal Wellness and Move Now University. We're gonna go over something that's good for patients, good for doctors. We're gonna talk about as good as your chiropractic adjustment is that you're getting or you're giving, it's not enough to fix the problem. Here's why you keep having issues. Here's why you have to keep going back for those nagging problems. I'm gonna break it down, and it's simple. It's what you're not doing. It's what you're not addressing. So let me show you this picture that I drew back in the day. It's an oldie but goodie. So this right here says segment. We talk about the individual segments of the spine. We all know this idea of a subluxation. A bone misaligns, it shifts, there's inflammation, there's swelling, it irritates a nerve, that's a problem. That's what traditional chiropractic looks to do. There's many different techniques out there. We specifically do a technique called Gonstead, which is very specific in finding that exact vertebra and adjusting it at the right direction at the right time. There's other techniques that work on the upper neck only. There's other techniques that work on the whole spine. Some are more specific than others, but most of us as chiropractors, we understand, we agree on the segmental component. That's one piece. The second part though is that when a segment weakens, it causes the posture to shift and distort and misalign. This is called a postural distortion. You look at this posture right here. This guy didn't end up like this just because he was lazy, although that could have started it. This is from abnormal work position. This is from possible trauma at a segment. Now it's not comfortable to stand upright. Now this feels better. So what happens? You adapt and adopt into that position, and then the spine remodels. There's stiffness that's built, the discs actually deform, the ligament deforms, the deep muscle holds things into that abnormal distorted position. How do you fix that? Well, you have to address that. You have to address the posture. We have other videos talking about this. Let's move on. And then the third thing is a lot of times where this all begins, and that's the movement, okay? Movement, you move abnormally, you hurt yourself, you cause a segmental problem. Then this whole thing happens. It starts with movement so many times, but it can really start anywhere. That's really the thing to understand. And then a last thing that I'll just come back over to here with, you have these nerves that come out. It shows going into the GI tract. This is my drawing of someone's colon, okay? This isn't my opinion. This is neurophysiology, neuroanatomy. The spinal nerve roots, there's branches off the roots that go into every cell, tissue, and organ of the body. It's the way that we are put together. So when you affect neurologically the same thing that causes numbness, coldness, weakness into a leg, do you think that would affect organ function? Yes or yes? Sometimes, always, maybe. You know, at the end of the day, if there's a problem with a joint, problem with a nerve, we want to make sure someone's overall health is at the highest level. We want to fix this. That's why us chiropractors got into this. That's why you as a patient watching this want to get answers to your questions and solutions to your problems. Before I continue, if I didn't mention this already, we serve two audiences. One is patients locally here in Idaho and those that fly in and see us in our clinic, Gonstead Spine and Wellness, and chiropractors that want to learn how to put this functional movement piece into their chiropractic practice. Last thing I will say is please feel free, comment below, let us know what else you want to see, let us know what questions, comments. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? It's okay. Let's have a conversation about it. Ask a question, put up some kind of objection. Let's have a conversation through our comments below. All right, let's explore this movement thing. I'm going to talk about looking at this as patterns. Let's talk about low back pain. Patient comes in, low back pain. Okay, you adjust their fifth lumbar in the low back, which is that lowest bone in the low back. You get great results that last a day or two. The patient comes back and says, I have a problem again. I have a problem again. And it keeps happening over and over and over again. And pretty soon it doesn't stick. And then we start to think, maybe it's something bigger. Maybe I need to send you out for an MRI. Maybe I need to send you for something that's outside of now our chiropractic realm. When most cases it is within our chiropractic realm and it falls with movement. So I'm gonna make this super simple. We look at patterns with functional movement. We don't look at very individual microscopic stuff, we look at patterns. Someone's got a low back issue, what's the main thing that we wanna look at? What is your toe touch pattern? Can you put your feet together, bend over and touch your toes? Now I'm gonna pretend I can't, okay? I can, but I feel a little bit of stiffness and tightness back here. So let's see. See, I can touch, my knees are locked, I'm falling forward. Notice my pelvis comes backwards, I fold forward. I'm looking for a uniform curve in my spine, all kinds of criteria that we're looking for. But that was a little stressful on the back of my leg. So I'm gonna now unload this. I'm gonna test this further. I'm gonna take weight off of one leg like this, and I'm gonna see, is there tension on one leg? Now, mind you, if this causes numbness, burning, tingling, pain, there's a little offshoot, there's a different direction that we go with this. I'm talking about if someone can do this without sharp, stabbing, searing type of pain, maybe just stiffness, then this is a good test and this is appropriate. Okay, so now I'm gonna go with one. I feel some tension on that one. Now I'm gonna unload my other one, so I'm effectively just testing one leg at a time. That one's a little easier, okay? So now this is a unilateral problem. So how do we address this? Well, here's why this is an issue, and here's the thought process behind it, is that when you bend forward to touch your toes, is it just a tissue tightness issue? That's where functional movement science says no, it usually is not. There's 3 reasons why we can't move well. It is joint, so either a joint restriction, it's either a muscular issue, okay, or like other tissue. And then the third one is brain or motor control. Is your brain creating stiffness because it doesn't trust that you can bend forward without injuring yourself? That's called creating stiffness as a protective mechanism. That happens when there is a lack of stability. Not just do lots more mobility, but let's activate stability and let's retrain the brain to trust the movement. So now, how do we do that? And again, this is one example of many patterns, but I figured this would be helpful to show all of you chiropractors and patients out there how simple this is and how we look at this. So I have a mat on the floor here. I'm in my squat rack. I'm gonna get down on the floor and I'm gonna do a leg lowering drill. Okay, so I'm gonna lock one leg up like this. All right, I'm gonna start with both legs vertical. I'm gonna put my hand under my back to keep my curve. All right, and I'm gonna lower, barely touch, come back up. I'm gonna do this 10 times. Now, what does this do? As I have one leg on stretch, my right leg, and this other one's lowering, it's teaching my brain to create stability throughout my core while I'm controlling ascending and descending my left leg. Falling off here. All right, here, I'll put it right there. This can be done like in the corner of a wall. It's actually better than this squat rack, but this is what I decided to use for this video. As you can see, my leg doesn't fit in there very well. Okay, so I'm coming down, touching, coming back up. So I'm gonna go through this about 10 times. We are repatterning a pattern of being able to create stability and put tension on the posterior chain while you're activating stability. I'm gonna flip around and do the other side. Okay, so now we'll go this way. Okay, so leg up. And it should be it should be like 90 if you can. Okay, get my hands under my low back. That's really a protection. So you maintain a curve in your low back so someone doesn't hurt themselves doing this. So I feel this in my core, okay? And I don't consider myself having a weak core. So we'll do this 10 times. So we did it about 10 times. To be honest, I didn't really count, but I think I'm pretty close. Now I'm gonna retest doing a double leg toe touch. I'm gonna see what it feels like. Okay. Feels much easier, much less tension on the back of my legs. I'll go single, easy. I'll go single, easy. So I gained a couple of inches, okay, as far as in ability to bend forward. What did we just demonstrate? That I had a pattern that was a little bit lacking. Now, granted, I don't have low back pain, but when you do this in a low back pain patient and you fix the toe touch, and there's some other corrective exercises you can give, these are ways of addressing a faulty, dysfunctional movement. If someone doesn't know how to toe touch properly, likely what's gonna happen if they don't have that ability to elongate in their posterior chain muscles, when they bend and move, they're gonna compromise by folding at their back and loading at their back. So meaning when you pick something up, you should not bend forward and pick it up. You should have enough laxity back here and control to be able to stretch through the legs and through the hips. And ultimately, we teach more, like on this picture right here, we're teaching more of a deadlift pattern of being able to pick something up, which is a much stronger position to be in. This is just a little glimpse into why the chiropractic adjustment, as great as it is, and we are pro chiropractic 1,000,000%, why that is not enough if you're looking to truly fix your patient. And if you think you're gonna roll the dice and send your patient out the door to a personal trainer, physical therapist, someone else, and hope that they just happen to be in total alignment with chiropractic principles and understand the segment posture movement relationship, you are unfortunately more likely than not mistaken. Not taking away anything from personal trainers or physical therapists, you can build that relationship and have that unity between 3 different entities to be able to figure this stuff out. The postural corrective process is something that we as chiropractors should own as well. You have to understand spinal biomechanics and look at x-ray. With all that said, the movement part is the missing piece in so many of these chiropractic adjustments that don't seem to last. So that's all I wanted to share with you today. Hopefully that was helpful for you. It gave you some food for thought. Put some comments below, ask me some questions. If you're a patient, there's some info on the screen as far as how to find out more about us. If you're a chiropractor, check out Move Now University. There's a link up on the screen so you can look into what we do and we can help you put these types of systems into your practice to better serve your patients. Dr. Todd from Gonstead Spinal Wellness. When it comes to the health of you and your family, results matter most.